Today's gym time reflection is chapter 3 of Ruth. And when I first started reading, I really didn't know what I could get out of it. I kind of know the book of Ruth already and wasn't really convinced, besides it being an amazing story, that there was anything that needed to be said. So I was really kind of going into this with learn more scripture, know it by heart and in my mind, and see the grace that God has, how he works all things, because that's basically the story of Ruth. He works all things for the good of those who honor and love him. And even though Ruth was not a believing woman because she was a Moabite, she ends up living in the blessings of what God has for her. And okay, but that's not the point, because that's not where I was today. It was the weight. So yesterday, as I was recording, I'm kind of frustrated at what I'm supposed to be doing here. Why I have this desire to share, but I don't really have the platform to share. I don't know really who I'm sharing to. But I know that I'm supposed to be sharing. And there's sometimes I get really vulnerable on it and I don't post that stuff because I'm like, no, people are going to think I'm straight up crazy. But maybe some people are feeling equally as crazy and they need to know that it's absolutely normal to work the crazy out with God, instead of being ashamed of the crazy. I mean, we live in a broken, fallen world. Isn't it ridiculous to think that we're all not kind of losing it a little bit every single day? The one good thing in my life, no, that's a lie. I have a bazillion good things in my life. One of the good things in my life is I've got a few good friends who we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when I straight up lose it, there's one person in particular who I can speak to. And I can lay my shame on the table. And I know that she's gonna love me anyway. But I also know that she'll be been there. Totally get it. And she will also be now we need to get ourselves together. We know our way out of this. And it's up. As I go off on a tangent, I digress. Those are conversations for another day. But the weight. Read the chapter. Ruth goes to Boaz because Naomi tells her to. Does a series of behaviors. And she puts herself in a very vulnerable situation. I don't know much about the time culturally, but I can't imagine that a woman being out at night alone, 1, 2, going to a man alone at night, 3, laying at his feet is culturally acceptable. I could straight up think that's kind of hoish behavior, right? You should be home, chaperoned, not with a dude alone. She's putting herself in a situation to be taken advantage of. She doesn't know Boaz from a hole in the wall. Yeah, he's a family redeemer, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, it could not mean anything. And we continue on and we see that there is a family redeemer who that means nothing to. But he's an honorable man. And he doesn't take advantage of her willingness to seek help, to ask for help, to go where the help is, And then she comes back. He tells her all these great, wonderful things. I'm going to go check in for you. You are such an honorable woman. You didn't go for a younger, wealthier man, although we know Boaz is loaded. And he lets her sleep and then tells her to protect her reputation, to leave before anyone sees her, gives her grain, and says, don't worry, I'm going to work all this out for you. This is a risky, risky plan. It's a risky plan. She don't know this dude. You know? And she goes back to Naomi and she tells him and she says, don't worry. Now we wait. Now we wait. And we see how God works. That's the rest of it for me. We wait. Nina, wait. And see how God works. Because in the wait, I'm seeking God more. Wanting to be close to him because it's the only place that there's peace. Because waiting sucks. Right? I'm a this waiter. Wait and see how God works. Read the Bible every day. Because even when you think you're just getting a really cool story of an amazing woman and a rich man, you might be getting some personal talking too. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. See you later.